Hey guys, it's Josie, and today I'm going to be making my own sewing pattern for a pair of pants. So I'm going to be using two different pairs of pants that I already own to make this pattern, and then I'm going to use that to make my own pair of pants that's going to be kind of a combination of the two. So let's just get right into the video. To make this sewing pattern, you're going to need some tracing paper or wrapping paper. I'm going to use wrapping paper today, and you can also use like the brown packaging paper. That's really good. I just don't have any right now, but the brown packaging paper is thicker, so it's a little bit easier to use, and then wrapping paper is just the tiniest bit thicker than tracing paper, so I like to use it as well. Then you're going to want your pants to trace, so like I mentioned, I'm going to be using two different pairs, and then something to trace the pattern with. I have a Sharpie, so hopefully you can see it on camera better, and then also something to cut out the pattern with, so I have my rotary cutter here. Also, if you are using a rotary cutter, you want to protect your surface, so I have a cutting mat laying down underneath. For the first pair of pants, I went ahead and laid them out this way, and they are like straight leg pants, so I lined up the edge right along the wrapping paper, and then I left a little bit of room on the bottom, so there is partial seam allowance. I will just have to add on a little bit more when I go to actually cut the pattern out. At the top here, because it is elastic, we're just gonna go right to the edge here and then stop here. So if we were to stretch this out, it would go from here to probably there. And then I'm gonna make a dotted line where this seam is here on these pants, because I want to use the other pair of pants for the crotch seam on the front and the back. Now with the other pants laid down, you can see the seam here is basically the same. I just drew a little weird when I was doing the dotted line, so I'm gonna go ahead and just draw the solid line. So now we have our finished pattern. I have it right up against the edge of the wrapping paper here and on the bottom, and then we have the top where the waist is, and then we have our seam here. So now we're gonna go ahead and do the same thing but with the front of the pants. So same thing, you want to fold it in half, and then I'm going to lay mine against the edge of the wrapping paper on the side here and just leave a little bit of room on the bottom. And the front seam is pretty similar too, so again, I'm just going to follow this seam a little more closely than I follow the dotted line here. Now I have my pants patterns all drawn out, and I'm gonna label front and back just so that I know, and then also I'm going to go ahead and cut them out with my rotary cutter after I label them, and I'm not too worried about the heights of them lining up because I lined them up with the bottom of the wrapping paper here, I can always cut off a straight line if I need to make one side shorter or not. So I just started cutting this one out, and I looked over and that back piece looked a little bit weird to me. So I got another pair of pajama pants because the pants that I want to make are going to be of like the same soft material. They're going to have an elastic waistband and they're not going to be like too structured. So I got another pair of pajama pants and just retraced this one again. This one was pretty much fine, but I took it in a little too much at the waist because for an elastic waistband, you want to make sure that the fabric that you have is going to be enough to fit over your hips. So you want to make sure that this top seam here is pretty much the same through part of this, because if you make this the size of your waist, you're not going to be able to get the pants on. So I went ahead and just finalized this one. This one was good. And then the back one, I retraced completely. So this was the old one. And then I went ahead and redid this part with the pajama pants. And also I brought this down a little bit. Now that we have both pattern pieces cut out, I'm going to go ahead and cut them out of my fabric. Now I have both pieces cut out, so normally if you didn't already have a seam connecting the front and back, you would want to sew that together first, but I already have mine on here, so we have now two pieces with the fronts and the backs, and then we're going to sew those together. the pants are sewn together and actually look like pants, I'm going to try them on and see if I need to take them in at all, and then also hem the bottom. This is ironed like as a hem, but it's not sewn down yet, so if this is an okay length, I'm just gonna go ahead and sew where it's already at. If not, I will fold it up however much more I need to and then sew it there. And then the only other place I might need to adjust would be at the waistband. Now that I tried on the pants inside out, I went ahead and pinned in the back to make 2 darts, and then for the bottom, I'm just going to roll it up again and hem it. So I just finished hemming the bottom of the pants, but let me show you how lucky I am. So I did have a little bit of extra that I cut off, but I finished sewing the pants entirely right when I ran out of bobbin thread. I could not have even tried to plan that. And now our pants are completely finished. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to see more, you can like and subscribe down below, or leave a comment on what you want to see next, and have a nice day!